where the Colorado Buffaloes had an exciting 38-31 win over Baylor, and it went to overtime. Colorado had to take it to extra time to do it. 38-31, the Buffs get the win, and they had some prospects on campus. Offensive tackle Carday Smith, who's committed to USC, Antonio Branch Jr., committed to Penn State, and Byron Baldwin, who's committed to Indiana, were all on hand. Now, Carday Smith, he's an interesting one because Colorado needs offensive tackles. Carday Smith has already flipped his commitment once. I don't think he's scared to do it again if Colorado presents what he's looking for. And he's committed to USC. So right now, committed to USC, but Colorado lurking. And you got Antonio Branch Jr., Byron Baldwin also on campus. So we're seeing some life out of Colorado high school recruiting. Finally.
Yeah, and we know every cycle Deion Sanders and the Buffaloes are good for at least one major flip. And so we'll see who that is as this process continues for Colorado this cycle. And the other thing, when they land a high-profile high school player, those guys play. They can point towards those guys being instant impact players in some capacity. When they're recruiting a high school player, Deion Sanders says it all the time, we're expecting you to come in right away because his philosophy has been portal. But when we go to the high school ranks, we were recruiting guys that we believe are ready-made and guys that can make an impact on the two deep, if not be starters and be in the regular rotation. So those are guys that are on their official visit. Look, they beat Baylor tonight in just exciting fashion. First of all, Colorado under Deion Sanders, the one thing that certainly stands out to me is how hard they play. I think that every Saturday they compete to the final whistle of the ball game. And that was evident today against Baylor when they scored the game-tying touchdown with no time left on a Shedeur Sanders rollout, heaved downfield. Just an excellent catch, and really right after a heartbreaking play where they should have scored on the play before, but the receiver had it go through his hands and hit his chest and ricochet off. They stayed poised, got the touchdown, and then won the ball game in overtime. Still wasn't a win, and then the fans stormed the field. Like, what an atmosphere for these recruits that were on campus tonight to be there. Just they're 3-1 right now, and pushing towards postseason eligibility. That would be another step forward. Colorado, he took over a program now that was really down, like the worst Power 5 program in the country. And now they just go out there and beat Baylor. Dave Aranda, who's a well-respected football coach, they hung in there. Baylor was throwing everything at him defensively. Shedeur Sanders hung in there, made enough plays, and they got the win. And again, Travis Hunter's the best player in college football, in my opinion. And so he came up big at various points in the ball game as well. And Colorado gets a W. And look, anytime Deion Sanders wants to decide that he wants to recruit high school players, because I still think that's the route he should go, ultimately long-term to win. And I don't know who their quarterback of the future is right now. Obviously they're recruiting Julian Lewis. But the guys that they got there now got a big win tonight. They played hard all the way till the end. They were resilient. They came back after the Nebraska game when everybody had turned on them for the most part nationally, got a big win against Colorado State, their in-state rival. And then I think a lot of people were expecting Baylor to come into Boulder tonight and get a win on the road. But, Josh, it's hard to win on the road at night. And Colorado was resilient. They were down most of the game. Sometimes they were down 2 scores. Scored a big win. Fans stormed the field. Recruits there in attendance had to have loved it. Recruits committed elsewhere. We know Deion Sanders is going to flip somebody this cycle. Who's it going to be? Maybe to be one of these 3 guys.
Yeah, and I'm ready for Deion to start recruiting that high school level, because when you watch the game, I mean, you see the guys that he recruits from high school getting it done, whether it's Jordan Seaton, Draylon Miller, Omarion Miller. I mean, they all made plays. Travis Hunter, he actually landed him out of high school. I know he transferred from Jackson State, but originally landed him out of high school. So the guys that Coach Prime lands out of high school end up making a huge impact. I'd love to go see him go get 20 great players. Like, Kirby Smart doesn't land a player like Jordan Seaton and just say, oh, I got Jordan Seaton, I'm going to sit back and just take it easy. I mean, Kirby Smart racks 6, 7 5-stars in a class. And I think Coach Prime could, I'm not saying he could recruit at the level of Kirby Smart, but I do think that if he put his mind to it, if he put his effort into it, I fully think that he could go down to the high school level and get some guys that could make a day one impact at Colorado. I mean, we've already seen it. I would just like to see more of that.
Look, I talked with you. We've talked about it. I talked with Andy Staples about it. First of all, like these guys that visited this weekend, like Deion Sanders does a fantastic job when top recruits are on campus.
Mm-hmm.
He's as charismatic a guy as there is in college football. He makes you feel at home. I guarantee he's crushing the on-campus visits with Carday Smith and these guys that are on campus. But look, he could have recruited the end of that first cycle like Hugh Freeze recruited the end of that first cycle with Auburn, if not better. That was a hell of a close by Hugh Freeze and Auburn that first cycle. I think that if he wanted to, it would be hard for him not to have a top 10 high school class. So that would have been an infusion of 30 players. Plus, I think he would have landed a lot of the guys that he truly wanted out of the portal anyway. Like they took a lot of fillers.
Yeah. I see what you mean. Yeah,
I think they would have got those high end guys that they got out of the portal. I don't think that stuff changes, right? They get those guys they truly coveted out of the portal. I think they still get them. And then they're taking another 20 to 25 player class this year from the high school ranks. That's really sets you up foundationally, in my opinion, to have a lot of long-term success where, again, there's just a lot of question marks for Colorado next year. And I don't know if there's a recipe to win 11, 12 games with your roster flipping like that every year after year, right? And he's had stability at quarterback, and he's had stability with Travis Hunter. But those guys are two of the best players in college football right now. It's hard to just duplicate that. It'll be hard to replace those guys as well. So I would love to see him attack the high school ranks. If he went into a high school, he'd be phenomenal. It would be the talk of the town. And he would recruit top 10 classes if that's what he chose to do. And I think if they just decided right now to say, hey, we're going to go hard on high school from September 23 on to December 4th, I think they'd get 10 to 12 guys we're not even talking about them getting right now, especially if they can continue to win games like they won tonight. But it's a credit to guys like Corey Phillips and Devin Rispress and stuff that got Coach Box, that got these guys on campus tonight, because it's not like Deion Sanders is pounding the pavement of high school recruiting right now. Not many head coaches are. They're in season. But I just think anytime Deion Sanders wants to hit the gas on high school recruiting, they would get a lot of kids on campus. And then we'll see what happens. Right. And then they'll get their fair share like everybody else.
I mean, maybe this kickstarts it. We'll see. I do think, like you said, they're going to lose a lot in the portal. So Colorado fans, you talk to me, and Steve, how do you want to see Coach Prime approach this the rest of the season? Do you think that you could hit the high school level and really get some impact players? Or do you just do what Coach Prime's been doing, which is relying on the transfer portal and doing all your work in the offseason? So let us know. Comment section below. Could this be the catalyst that gets high school recruiting going? Let us know. Comment section below.